June 6th, and here's what's going on with Muscovites today.
Oh! Listen, this is probably the best story I've ever had.
A raging hurricane is destroying Moscow, tearing off roofs, demolishing skyscrapers, and toppling trees. And wiping Muscovites off the face of the earth. Boom, bada, boom.
Unbelievable what's going on. Seriously, it's just crazy what's happening here. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
A yellow danger level has been declared in Moscow. Muscovites are flooded.
A super downpour has started.
They're literally being swept off the face of the earth. The wind is tearing apart tents. Muscovites are screaming. Friends, please like this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dasha. In the comments, write a few kind words in support of Ukraine and also let us know where you're watching from. Like, comment, subscribe. And let's get started. Rain and hurricane winds are sweeping away the streets. Muscovites are trying to get to work by swimming, doing the breaststroke.
Oh, what a disaster on 19th Avenue. It's not even clear what's going on there anymore.
Shops are being flooded. What a sight. Don't stop. Water. Offices are being flooded. The Moscow metro is underwater. The elements are swallowing Moscow. Nature is taking revenge for all the evil that Russia has caused. Muscovites are panicking and can't get out of the metro. Tony, it's Moscow.
It looks like our house is in danger. This is really scary now. Look at what happened. Part of the subsoil collapsed. And the entrance to the basement broke. And now all the water that's here in Moscow is pouring in there in a huge stream. So, can anyone tell me what to do?
Tony!
Our house is old and might not withstand this well.
Even the parking garages that have already been flooded can't hold up anymore.
Yeah, this is a flood. Uh-oh.
The hurricane is toppling skyscrapers, shattering windows, destroying Muscovites. A powerful natural disaster has struck the capital of Mordor. And bingo! Fires have started over there.
I'm clicking cancel anything. Oh no! Can you imagine? That's it. A fire.
Burn bright so you don't go out.
Honestly, it's just so scary. What if, the roof actually collapses? No, they still haven't put it out yet either.
They're really scared.
And now some daredevil is trying to swim across. Whoa.
This is just bingo.
Just bingo. 1, 2. Look at those huge roots. Just 3.
Enjoy.
It really won't come off at all, no matter what I do.
Moscow was swallowed by a hurricane and the flood of the century. Moscow city is blown up, roofs are destroyed, Muscovites are screaming.
Wow, the wind is just insane.
18,000 Muscovites were left without power.
What was Vanya saying about death again?
The windows are shaking.
Trees uprooted, fallen cranes, roofs torn off. A powerful hurricane, hail and flood hit Moscow and the Moscow region.
Live report from the scene. Leningradsky Prospect. Ta-ta-ra-ta. Japanese policemen. This is a total disaster.
Summer arrived in Moscow unexpectedly beautifully. Hurricanes, squally winds are tearing off roofs, destroying houses, and flooding skyscrapers. Panic and evacuation have begun in Moscow. Wind, rain, and hail have damaged hundreds of cars and infrastructure facilities. The elements have caused a traffic collapse. Buses, trams, and trolleybuses have stopped running in Moscow. And the tree fell onto the tracks of one of the Moscow metro lines.
A mega downpour with hail and possibly even tornadoes has hit Moscow today in the capital of Russia.
The Ministry of Emergency Situations did not warn Muscovites about how dangerous this is. It's possible that Moscow will go underwater. This looks more like the hurricane and tornado of the century. Strong winds are tearing down billboards, the roofs of Moscow buildings, and toppling trees. Trees have destroyed skyscrapers and cars. There are people injured due to falling trees. Muscovites are in a panic. The hurricane is destroying roofs and shattering windows. Muscovites are screaming as their tents are blown away. Hurricanes are raging in Moscow and the Moscow region. An orange level weather hazard has been declared there. Nature is returning all the evil to Russia like a boomerang. The promised tornadoes were recorded in Lobnya near Moscow. A squally wind with rain hit the Moscow region. Thunderstorm warning, orange danger level in Moscow. Boom, bada boom, flood, flood, clear skies until Moscow sinks forever.
These are copper sheets. In some places. Well, the crown of cash, that's a jigget. Hail is being observed. What did they say about the tornado, Vanya?
The leftovers are shaking.
A report from the scene. Leningradsky Prospect. Rata. Japanese policeman. This is a disaster. See, they don't clear out the dead wood, and now people are to blame for everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars.
Muscovites were warned that a hurricane was coming. No one could believe it because the weather was good and the sun was shining. And then at 3 o'clock, a real Armageddon begins. Downpour, thunderstorm, the wind speed reached 17 meters per second. The amount of precipitation that fell in just 1 hour almost exceeded half a month's norm.
As a result of the thunderstorm front passing through, power outages are currently being observed in a number of settlements. No reports have been received regarding damage to the integrity of roofs, buildings, and structures or disruptions to road traffic. These weather conditions are expected to persist across the Central and Volga federal districts for the next 2 days.
It's like a huge crater from an explosion, such. A massive tree fell. And here's another one.
Trees were broken and fell right onto the playground.
In some districts of Moscow, heavy rain has started. Residents of the capital have also posted videos showing hail. Stones from the sky are destroying Russians. According to the Yandex weather precipitation map, a torrential downpour and hurricane are moving through the southwest and south of the capital, the city center, as well as the northeast.
There's a stump, huh?
Look, what? Got it in my mouth. Just look at how strong the wind was. It broke all the trees.
I'm pouring it out. Well, look. People have come and are making a new road.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Just take a look at this.
That's it. Fire. Across the lawn.
Retribution, or more precisely, just punishment for those who are behind all this, is inevitable. And we as civilized people at that moment will negotiate with him, with them, about how they prefer to stand against the wall, with their eyes blindfolded or on their knees facing the wall, or bravely looking down the barrel. Well, those are the three options that, in the end, we will have to negotiate with them about. We, as humane people, will grant them the right to choose as their last wish.
And why is it that when it comes to the Crimean Bridge, you don't have any particular emotions, but if we target the Kyiv Dam, you get upset every time? But if Ukraine strikes the Crimean Bridge, what's stopping us from destroying the Kyiv Dam?
I honestly don't understand.
Personally, I don't post any of these things, and it's not that I'm happy about it. I understand that this is... But I'm reasoning logically. Vladimir Rudolfovich, you're not being logical, you're being illogical. Because I read what the experts say, yes, it's sabotage, but it didn't cause any real damage even to the Crimean Bridge. And if it could have, well, and if you're talking about the Kyiv Dam, then tens of thousands of people at the very least died there. That is sabotage. But this is a terrorist attack. These are different things. Vladimirovich, excuse me. I want to remind you that the previous act of sabotage on the Crimean Bridge resulted in people being killed. Moreover, it was only by a stroke of luck that the train passing nearby didn't derail. Because that was exactly the plan. Now, if you pull the end of this thread, I'll ask you the question again. I'm not arguing with you, because otherwise it looks like I'm covering for some and not others. But that's not the case. And why should the strike on the dam result in people dying? Are you serious? If the Kyiv Dam is blown up? Yes, and then what? Come on. No, wait. No, wait. Evacuate what? No, listen. The water would flood half of Kyiv region and Cherkasy region. People would die, civilians would die, and on a massive scale. Just a minute. When the Ukro-Nazis blew up the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant dam, I don't recall anyone being particularly upset. When I was there, I saw all of this with my own eyes. And people died. So what? Did the international community react in any way? Look, Vladimir Rudolfovich... Excuse me, how many strikes hit there? They were deliberately pounding it with HIMARS. And just imagine how much money was spent firing those HIMARS to bring down that dam. And so what? I'm in favor of punishing the terrorists who did this, but I'm against calling for revenge. Like, let's hit the river workers, or let's destroy the Kyiv Dam, or destroy it without Kyiv. Vladimir Vladimirovich, do you mean during the Great Patriotic War we shouldn't have bombed Berlin? No, well, wait.
But Shari writes that the videos appearing here are being filmed by conscripts. Can we shoot this conscript? Just take this scum out and shoot him in front of the formation, like a traitor to the motherland who's now simply working in the interests of the enemy. No, we can't. Our laws don't allow it. We're humanists, after all. We can't even scold him. Well, of course. What are you talking about? Even though in the army he's not allowed, right, to have a phone. But that's not allowed. But everyone has one anyway. Even though he understands that there is responsibility. What kind of responsibility? Disciplinary? Under which article could he be charged?
Now it has become known that the warehouse where these drones were being assembled, Andrei, do you know where it was located? In Chelyabinsk.
Where?
In Chelyabinsk. So, this entire territory of Russia was within the scope of attention and actions of a special service, security service of Ukraine. I don't know. There will definitely be movies made and books written about this operation.
And that's why, Vladimir Vladimirovich, the inspection has now taken place. Right? The regions have started to implement something, but it's very important to maintain this attention, this coordination, this support and training. And I strongly ask for your decision to transform the all-Russian inspection, which you instructed to be carried out, into the all-Russian Family Assistance Service.
Hello. Live broadcast, Channel 1, the program Time Will Tell. I'm Artem Shainin, which means, as always at this time, the most important and most relevant news. Today is June 20th, and the news of June 20th is the kind of news that outshines all other news. Well, if only because they are so important, interesting, and all-encompassing that, against this backdrop, the news from June Honest doesn't even need to be discussed anymore because, well, the news from June Honest, that was yesterday. That's right. So for anyone interested in the news from June Honest, I wrote a lot about it yesterday on my Telegram channel. That's right. If you're interested, go ahead and check it out. Read both the news and my thoughts on the matter. But since that was yesterday and today is June 20th, and today we're in Istanbul, we'll be discussing June 20th and Istanbul because, well, you all understand why. That's right.
You know what we need to do? When a guru or an SBU agent or a recruited main intelligence directorate operative gets behind the wheel of a heavy truck and heads toward a military airfield and launches drones from the vehicle he's driving, we need to make sure he sees that trip not as a journey to buy bagels at a Russian fair, but as a one-way road. He needs to understand that when he's arrested, he won't be sent to a detention center where he'll get medical treatment, read books, rest, eat well, and then return home with medals and honors after the next prisoner exchange. No, he'll be executed by firing squad, or better yet, hanged. That's how it should be. And there's no need to liquidate him during the arrest. That's what I'm insisting on. It's too simple. There needs to be a trial, an investigation, but a very brief one. We can introduce a simplified form of criminal proceedings and the death penalty by hanging. And that's the right thing to do. And that's good. And that will change the rules of the game. For this, there's no need to listen to the chairman of the Constitutional Court who tells us fairy tales about liberal values, about Europeans, about how the world will be offended, about how it's also complicated. These laws are so hard to change. None of that is necessary. A presidential decree. We end the moratorium. And as part of this decree, we write, Decree of the President of the Russian Federation on urgent measures to combat banditry, terrorism, and sabotage activities. And then we introduce simplified procedures. Detention for 30 days without trial. We detain, put the person in a cell, and carry out operational measures with them. By the way, this will be very useful for migration issues. But the main thing is the death penalty. Simplified criminal proceedings and hanging. That's it. And then a lot will change.
After all, strategic aviation is part of our nuclear triad. So they weren't just targeting a plane, they were specifically targeting an aircraft that carries special munitions, special warheads. More precisely, KH-55 missiles there are 16 of them, as is customary for the Tu-95, and off it goes. And a single plane like that can easily wipe out half of America. So what should we do? Now, attention, here's the question. Who is personally responsible for the nuclear triad? Who is it? That's right, the General Staff. The General Staff is responsible for the nuclear triad. You know, what's really frightening to me is that I really hope this doesn't just get swept under the rug and that they don't just pin the blame on some scapegoat like the commander of the airbase for supposedly not providing enough security. This is a systemic problem. And moreover, it's not just about removing someone from the position there. Needs to be criminal accountability for this under the criminal code for causing enormous damage to our country.
Friends, please like this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dasha. We work for an audience all over the world so that people know the truth about Russian aggression, about Russia's war against Ukraine. That's why every comment and every subscription helps ensure that as many people as possible around the world see this video. Stay with us. Stay on the side of light. Friends, glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. We will definitely win.